Hello. I was checking to make sure that my audio was good. Good morning. I think I am sick. My roommate is sick. He's very sick. He missed work yesterday. I cannot. So, yeah, I'm just going to stay away from my coworkers. Oh, cool, Candace. I'm glad that you bookmarked that page. Kindness 101 is yeah, that's a good page to have. So this morning, I woke up and I went downstairs and I fed the animals like I do every morning. And I noticed that the light was on in the garage. And I thought, that's fine. Sometimes he leaves the light on in the garage a lot. Excuse me. The cat loves to go out in the garage. That's her little adventure. It's a safe space. I don't have to worry about like her getting away. She can hunt bugs in there. So I thought, oh, he left the light on the last time he left the cat out. The garage door was open. So I don't know how the garage door got open. So that freaked me out a little bit. I don't know if somebody got the garage door open or if a button accidentally got pressed, because we have 3 garage door openers. 2 of them are in a drawer and one of them is in my purse. And normally I lock the door that goes from the house to the garage. And I put something in front of the door because the house has shifted, so it doesn't always stay shut. You have to like lift it up when you close it. So, yeah, from now on, there will always be tools in front of that door. Like he made fun of me for doing that before, that I put a bunch of tools in front of the door. Yeah, there's nothing in the garage that I can think of that's worth stealing. The only thing worth stealing is still here, which would be the Volvo QX, whatever the heck it is, the SUV that we have as a rental. and that wouldn't even be the worst thing. I mean, please steal my Ford Focus. That would be great, but nobody wants the Ford Focus. I have full insurance on it. But that's the kind of car you look at and you're like, oh, they probably don't have good insurance. I have the best insurance. Even though my car looks like a piece of shit. But yeah, so my garage door was open. That's terrifying. That's fun. So I have no idea how that happened. I'm just going to assume that my roommate did it without realizing. Yeah, dude, he's sicker today than he was yesterday. And he never misses work. He missed work yesterday. And I'm pretty sure I'm sick too. But I'm not allowed to miss work. So I think I'm going to take a mask to work because I'm not sure if I'm sick. I'm just going to take a mask and wear it at my cubicle just to, be careful and not get anybody else sick if I am sick. Because I stayed away from him. I made him chicken noodle soup and cornbread for dinner last night, and I stayed away from him. We sat pretty far apart. I sat on the floor to be away from him and not touch the couch and all the sickness. So I'm trying to not get sick. I'm trying. And I very rarely get sick. Of course, now that I'm working an office job that I haven't done in a decade, now I might be getting sick. There's some snot joy, but that could be allergies too. I'm in denial. All right. So as always,
this program contains subject matter and language that may be disturbing to some viewers. Viewer discretion is advised.
Viewer discretion is advised. I do cover news stories, and the world is a weird and violent place. The first story that we are going to touch on is the search for Susan Simpson in San Antonio. So I have an update from Good Morning America, and then I have the latest update from local news.
Texas mom. Police are searching a wooded area outside San Antonio for signs of Suzanne Simpson, who they say disappeared after an altercation with her husband. Janae Norman is here with the latest for us. Good morning, Janae.
Robin, good morning. This is one of those awful stories. Her husband, Brad Simpson, is already behind bars, held on a $2 million bond. Now, he's not charged in her disappearance, but for that alleged altercation. His lawyer calls the charges ludicrous.
This morning, a new twist in the mysterious disappearance of Texas mom Suzanne Simpson, who vanished earlier this month. Authorities now focusing search efforts on a wooded area just off a highway outside San Antonio. Authorities combed through a nearby landfill for days, searching for the missing 51-year-old mother of four, but didn't find any trace of Simpson.
So you search and follow leads as they come along, and however long it takes you to exhaust them.
Officials releasing this, the last known photo of the San Antonio realtor outside a dinner club she attended with her husband. The photo was taken just hours before reports alleging she and her husband, Brad, got into a physical altercation near their home. An affidavit describing a neighbor telling authorities they heard screams and actually saw the couple fighting, adding that an hour later, they saw Brad Simpson driving off in his truck, returning an hour or two later.
I don't understand why it happened. It wasn't part of their life.
Suzanne's mother, Barbara, says she spoke with her daughter just an hour before she was reportedly last seen.
She called me up and told me the things that Brad had done to her physically.
Simpson's husband, who reported her missing, later arrested. He's not been charged in her disappearance, but he is facing charges that include family violence and unlawful restraint, and a federal gun charge for the unregistered short-barrel rifle investigators say they recovered while searching the home. Police say he's been uncooperative with the investigation. Brad Simpson's attorney telling the San Antonio Express News his client intends to plead not guilty and that the case against Simpson is, quote, theater to incapacitate him to keep him in custody.
Now, his lawyer also says that witness is not credible. Simpson is due back in court November 13th. But guys, this is one of those cases where every detail you hear is more disturbing than the last.
Sure is.
Yeah.
Okay, Janae, thanks very much.
At 10, the husband of the missing Almost Park mother hit with 2 new charges tonight.
Investigators say that Brad Simpson begged his business partner to hide his AK-47 rifle in the days following his wife's disappearance. And tonight, both men are facing tampering with evidence charges.
KENS 5 reporter Megan Reyna joins us live in studio. And Megan, you just got your hands on court documents. What else are you learning?
Well, EC's earlier today, we learned James Cotter, Brad's business partner, was arrested Monday for tampering with evidence in this missing persons case. Well, according to court documents, that's because he allegedly hid Brad's illegal machine gun behind his bedroom wall, and a search dog found it yesterday. 65-year-old Cotter was arrested at his home following the discovery. His bail was set to $500,000. Meanwhile, Brad was hit with 2 new charges just today. He is now facing a tampering with evidence charge and prohibited weapon charge. Records state he texted Cotter on October 8th, 2 days after his wife went missing. He said, quote, "If you're in Bandera, can you meet me at your house? I don't have much time." He went on to text, "Sorry for the urgency, but you're all I got, especially now. Social media is destroying me." When the Texas Rangers questioned Cotter if he had the gun, he told them he didn't. Meanwhile, since October 10th, Brad Simpson has been facing an assault and unlawful restraint charge. He's accused of assaulting his wife, Suzanne Simpson, before she went missing. The ATF also filed a charge against him that day, accusing him of owning an unregistered gun. Today, I reached out to both Brad and Cotter's attorneys, and they both told me they had no comment regarding these charges. And as far as the search for Suzanne, we know they have been focusing on searching wooded areas in and around Almost Park. For a full timeline of her disappearance, go to our website, kins5.com.
So again, the issue isn't that the gun is unregistered. In the state of Texas, you do not need to register your guns. It's an illegal gun. You cannot have a machine gun. Can't have a machine gun. Because I'm not going to get into that whole conversation. Yeah, I just Googled it to make sure that I'm not wrong. Yeah, Texas does not require gun registration. So if it's a certain type of firearm, so if he had a machine gun, which he had, which is not legal for some, so if he wanted some special reason to carry it, then he can register it. But it's an illegal gun. You can't have automatic. That's not allowed. Yeah, I tried to tell him to go to the doctor. He won't. He has insurance. He just won't go. All right. So moving. Well, I hope that they find something, because there's a bunch of weird stuff going on. And I mean, they're holding him. He's not going anywhere, especially with federal charges. So I wonder if he's going to say anything. So moving on to Delphi, they showed some video that the jury that has never been seen before. They enhanced the video from Libby German's phone.
It's now 5 o'clock, and there hadn't been much evidence revealed to the public from the Delphi murders case until testimony this week.
Now, tonight, we're learning there was more video than the clip of the man on the bridge saying "down the hill." Our senior investigative reporter, Bob Siegel, just stepped out of the Carroll County Courthouse, where he's been covering the trial since it started.
And he joins us now live from Delphi. And Bob, this is really interesting. What was in that new part of the video that was played in open court this afternoon?
Yeah, so we knew that Libby German recorded video on her cell phone the day she and Abby Williams were murdered in Delphi, but the jury just got to see the video, and there's more video there than what we originally knew. Let me tell you about it. The video that jurors saw today here in court, it's 43 seconds long, taken at 2:13 on the afternoon of the murders. Libby's camera pointed downward, showing video of the Monon High Bridge. We can hear Libby's voice saying, "There's no path." And at the very end, a man's voice seemingly saying, "Down the hill." The video was shown during testimony from Indiana State Police Digital Forensic Examiner Brian Bunner. Now, he explained how he extracted data and audio and video from Libby's cell phone, and he told the jury why he extracted that video very quickly the day after the murders. He told the jury time was of the essence, so We wanted to get data off the phone and in the hands of investigators as soon as possible. The jury then heard how state police actually tried extracting data from the phone 5 separate times over the course of 3 years. One of those times with the help of the Department of Homeland Security in Washington, D.C. And then we heard from another state police audio video technician who explained how he enhanced Libby's cell phone video to get a still image of the person now known as Bridge Guy on the bridge and to isolate the man's voice saying down the hill. Also today, and I'll tell you, we had a bunch of witnesses who testified in court. We heard testimony from Indiana State Police crime scene investigator Brian Olahai. He started his testimony yesterday. This morning, the jury got to see him show bags of evidence. There were 49 pieces of evidence that he and other investigators collected from the crime scene, an area known as Ground Zero, very close to the girls' bodies, as well as from the autopsies of Abby and Libby that were performed in Terre Haute. Today, he showed the bags to the jury. Those bags included clothes and shoes, swabs of blood, Libby's cell phone, the bullet cartridge that was found on the ground between the two girls, as well as fibers collected from the girls' fingernails. That was some of the evidence. Now, the jury didn't actually get to see the evidence. They saw the bags that contain the evidence. It was part of the state's effort to try to convince the jury that all of this evidence was collected very deliberately and methodically, and the chain of custody involved with making sure that all of that evidence had integrity as it was maintained for the investigation. Now, got to tell you, we've got some really important stuff coming up at 6 o'clock. This afternoon, over the last hour and a half, we've heard from 3 separate witnesses that the state put on the stand to explain how certain they are that they saw Bridge Guy on the paths and on the Monon High Bridge just before the murders took place. However, there was some pushback, and some of the testimony that they gave could present a real problem for the state. I will explain that to you coming up on 13 News at 6. For now, I'll send.
Yeah, we will see what happens with this trial. Yeah, just all the discussion with the evidence and stuff. I can't even get into it. It's just so horrific to think about. So I'm sure that y'all heard what happened to Liam from One Direction, that he fell off of a balcony. There were reports that he was acting erratically previous to him falling, and we have discussed pink cocaine multiple times. There was a young woman that used pink cocaine in Miami and then drove insanely fast down Biscayne Boulevard and hit some cars, killed some people, jumped out of the car and said she was from the future. It's like this day and age PCP because it has a psychedelic in it. And they did an autopsy and they found the pink cocaine in Liam's system. This drug is incredibly dangerous. I don't know why anybody would do it. Just if I was rich and I was doing drugs, I would have like somebody testing the drugs for me. That's how paranoid I am. Like, there's no way. Because like Demi Lovato overdosed on a counterfeit pill. It was all fentanyl. So like it doesn't matter how much money you have, anything can be cut with anything. It doesn't matter who you are. So like at this day and age, if you're going to do drugs, you have to like get a whole test kit. And they do sell them. Dancesafe.org is one of them. Not that I'm like saying, hey, go do drugs. If you are going to do drugs, do it responsibly. Because this day and age, like there's so much stuff mixed in, it can kill you. So if you have kids, please talk to your kids. Please let your kids know what pink cocaine is, that it's not just cocaine. It's not just, a fun drug. This is something that can make you have a mental break and completely ruin your life or kill yourself. Or, this is a very, very, very dangerous drug.
A partial autopsy has found former One Direction singer Liam Payne had several substances, including pink cocaine, in his system when he fell to his death in his hotel in Argentina. So what is pink cocaine? Thank you again for joining us here on ABC 7, Hulu, and wherever you stream. I'm Colleen Sullivan, in for David Ono.
I'm Ellen Leyva. Pink cocaine has also been mentioned in one of the civil lawsuits against Sean Diddy Combs. So what exactly is pink cocaine?
Eyewitness News reporter Leticia Juarez spoke to law enforcement and public health officials to find out what the drug is and what it does to the body.
Having no regrets. A partial autopsy revealed former One Direction singer Liam Payne had multiple substances in his system when he plunged to his death from a third-floor balcony in Buenos Aires, Argentina. Toxicology results show he had a mix of drugs, including one called pink cocaine.
The first piece that we almost always see in pink or pink cocaine is ketamine, a dissociative drug, something that makes people feel like they're detached from reality. The second component is a psychedelics.
Bill Bodner is a former DEA agent. He says despite its name, oftentimes there is no cocaine in the toxic mix of drugs, which includes synthetics like ecstasy, methamphetamine, and benzodiazepines. The drug, also known as 2C, acts as both a stimulant and a depressant.
Very, very cheap to make. And they can kind of tailor the drug to what the drug user is looking for, the perceived effects that the drug user is looking for.
Pink cocaine got its start in Latin American nightclubs as a party drug. Recently, it was linked to Sean Diddy Combs in a lawsuit filed by his former music producer, Rodney Jones. He alleges it was required all employees, from the butler, the chef to the housekeepers, to walk around with a pouch or fanny pack filled with cocaine, GHB, ecstasy, marijuana gummies, and 2C, a pink drug that is a combination of ecstasy and cocaine. But like any drug, there are several dangerous side effects on the body and the user's perception of reality.
One of the things around mixtures such as this is people's behavior might become unpredictable and they might do things that they wouldn't have otherwise done.
The drug is also a possible factor in Payne's behavior in the minutes leading up to the 31-year-old's death. Pink cocaine is taking hold in the U.S. and has law enforcement and public health officials warning that the designer drug has a target audience.
If you've used it before and it went okay, there's an assumption that if you use it again, it will always be okay. And that's just not true.
Yeah, it's such a mixture of everything. Please, please, please let the young adults, let the teenagers in your life know about this, because they may not know how dangerous it is. If somebody tells you that it's pink cocaine and they don't know what it is, this could be life altering or could kill somebody. So please spread the information. I'm going to share it on my Twitter. I hate to say this, but hopefully, since it happened to somebody so famous, maybe young people will listen. Liam, does have a child, so of course my heart breaks for the child. So speaking of drug use, we're moving on to the Cash App founder murder trial, where they are talking about rampant drug use. And this one I'm going to speed up a little bit because it's a 6-minute video or a 5-minute video, so I'm going to put it on 1.25. So if they're talking a little fast, that's why.
Here we are back in our virtual courtroom as a star witness takes the stand in the murder trial of Nima Momeni, the defendant's sister. Momeni is the tech consultant charged with stabbing and killing Cash App founder Bob Lee last year in San Francisco. So the trial adjourned until Monday, but not before the court heard from Momeni's sister, whose relationship with Lee is at the center of this case. Khazar was with Lee for hours the day that he was killed and has maintained a low profile in the 18 months since. Well, the judge ordered her to appear in court as early as this past Tuesday, but today prosecutors finally called her to testify. Our Lauren Toms has been in the courtroom all week long. She joins us live now with more on how Momeni's sister defended her brother on the stand. Lauren.
Yeah, Juliet, stunning testimony from a key witness in this case and one of the last people to see Bob Lee alive, the defendant's sister, Khazar. She maintained that she was self-destructive and crying in the days after Bob Lee's death, but said that she does not believe her brother killed Bob Lee. Khazar Momeni, the sister of the man accused of fatally stabbing Bob Lee, took the witness stand Thursday with critical testimony about what happened in the hours leading up to Lee's death and her communication with her brother in the hours after. She said her brother Nima did not kill Bob and wasn't aware of the defense's argument that their client was acting in self-defense.
I was struck by one of the first things she said when asked by the DA about, do you know basically that your brother killed Bob Lee, but it was self-defense? And she said, my brother has not killed Bob Lee. I don't know anything else about the case. Credibility is hugely important in a jury trial.
Attorney Shannon Dugan witnessed the stunning moment Khazar entered the courtroom in a light blue dress as the room anticipated her recounting of events.
They were pretty transfixed. Again, they weren't looking down, taking a lot of notes. All eyes were on her.
She described her time at her friend named Jeremy Boyven's apartment, who she describes as a drug dealer. There, she said she consumed cocaine, nitrous oxide, LSD, and GHB on April 3rd. But she maintained she was under the influence of drugs at that time and distraught by Bob's passing. She said she did not recall most text messages and attributed some to bickering with her brother.
So in a way, it was used to give her an out for recollecting a lot of what happened.
Inside the courtroom, the prosecution revealed text messages between her and her brother Nima, where she threatened to call the cops on him and refuted claims that she was sexually assaulted.
Things that are coming spontaneously from people before they think that police officers are going to be involved, before they think these text messages are going to get subpoenaed for a trial.
And for the first time, we also heard from Bob Lee's brother Oliver, who has been present through the trial alongside his dad. He refuted Khazar's testimony and remembered his brother for his kindness.
It's very difficult for us, and to see her today take that grief from us and use it to repair her or her image within all of this scenario is really, really difficult for us. My brother was about love and empathy, and he was an awesome person, and I'm gonna miss him. I do miss him. But 2 years or 18 months later, or a year and a half later, I'm not in shock anymore. I'm angry.
Now, Juliet, Khazar is not only a witness for the prosecution, but also for the defense. And when court resumes on Monday, we can expect to hear even more testimony from her. And today we heard that we can also expect to see more text messages between Khazar and her brother.
Yeah, if we kind of review those text messages from right after Bob Lee's death, they indicate that she seems pretty desperate to find out what happened to her friend, correct?
Yeah, Juliet, that's correct. Prosecutors revealed text messages between Khazar and her brother, in which she said that she wanted to get to the bottom of what happened to Bob Lee. And at one point she said, either I'll ask or the cops will.
All of that is evidence. All right. Lauren Toms. Lauren, thank you.
So remember, kids, I don't know if it's being streamed. That's a good question. Let me Google it. Cash App. I don't know. It might be. I don't think so because they're doing the court art. They don't normally do the art if it's being recorded, right? I could be wrong. I have no idea. I have no clue. We'll have to look to see if that anchor looked like AI. It's possible. That's creepy. I like AI. Me and ChatGPT were like this. We're buddies. I have been talking to ChatGPT about my fascination with cults, and we were talking about this cult, and it gave me misinformation, and I'm like, hey, that's actually not correct. This is what happened. And it's like, oh, you're right. Like, if I'm right and you know I'm right, why didn't you give me the correct information the first time? But anyway, so we will see what happens in this trial. Oh, you follow no cameras, but follow a tweeter in the court. Okay. No, you're not hidden. I just can't pay attention. All right. Next up, El Chapo's son. El Chapo's son has a plea deal in the works. For those of you that don't know who El Chapo is, he was in charge of the largest cartel in South America and Mexico, and he has brought in billions of dollars worth of drugs in the United States, and I believe he is in custody in Chicago, in the Chicago News, so we'll see.
Judy, ever since Ovidio Guzman and his brother Joaquin landed in the hands of federal prosecutors here, it seemed only a matter of time before they started playing Let's Make a Deal. Tonight, their attorney is saying talks are underway that could result in guilty pleas to the charges in a sizable drug trafficking case against them.
There's a myriad of possibilities in a situation like this.
After months of denying that there were plans for plea agreements, tonight, New York-based attorney Jeffrey Lichtman says two Los Chapitos, these sons of Sinaloa cartel kingpin El Chapo, would like to plead guilty if their deals are right. During a routine court hearing here at the Dirksen Federal Building Monday, Lichtman and prosecutors acknowledged plea talks are underway. Only Ovidio Guzman was in court, but Lichtman says he'd like to see Chapo's son Joaquin also negotiate a deal with prosecutors.
Although I represent both brothers, it doesn't change the fact that they individually have their own cases. So this isn't a package deal in terms of one doing one and one doing the other. I'd like them to do the same thing, have the same result, but the government views them differently.
Lichtman tonight insists there are no discussions about the brothers cooperating with prosecutors, but he was asked if cooperating is a possibility.
And there's a possibility that I could wake up tomorrow morning and be 6'11" and be playing center for the Knicks. That's a possibility too. It doesn't mean that it's going to happen.
Former federal prosecutor in Chicago and chief ABC7 legal analyst Gil Sofer tonight says there is a wide range of cooperation, from agreeing to discuss a plea deal to testifying against cartel associates.
There's no question that true cooperation will result in a more lenient approach by the government to the defense.
But is it fair to say that at the very least, when you're negotiating a plea deal, the defendant has to make admissions of guilt in order for a judge to accept it?
Yeah, there's no question. A plea deal, if it goes to an agreement, means that the defendant will be acknowledging guilt.
Ovidio Guzman was arrested in Mexico, brought to Chicago a year ago. In July, his brother Joaquin was arrested with Sinaloa cartel founder El Mayo Zambada in a still mysterious private plane ride from Mexico to Texas. Zambada is being held for trial now in New York. Prosecutors there would undoubtedly rejoice at having both of El Chapo's sons testify against the 76-year-old El Mayo. But the attorney for the brothers is also the attorney for El Chapo and says there's no cooperation coming.
Oh, of course. That's kind of shitty for the sons, because you know that their dad is calling all the shots because it's all the same attorney. So the next 3 stories, I have 3 separate cities, 3 separate stories about sex trafficking. So I do want to warn you again. I don't know how graphic these stories will be, so I just want to warn you all. The first story is coming out of the Philadelphia area. Then we have, this is coming from the New York News, but that story, it's all over the world. And then in Harris County, 84 victims of sex trafficking were identified, and there was 9 Houston bars shut down because of this investigation. 9. It's some of these people, like especially like Diddy and like the Abercrombie and Fitch CEO, you guys have so much money. You could like get willing participants. There's, high-end escorts. There's, all these people that you could hire and have around and that would want to do the things that you want to do. But instead you have to trick people and do this. So yeah. So I'm just going to let these stories play back to back. So this is going to be about 7.5 minutes of sex trafficking. So if it's not something that you want to see, come back in about 8 minutes.
The conduct in this case is disturbing. It is cruel and it is callous.
Right now at 6, preying on vulnerable women. Prosecutors say they've caught a man accused of running a sex trafficking ring for years in a quiet Philadelphia neighborhood. Good Tuesday evening. I'm Siafa Lewis in for Yuki, Washington. Authorities say the sex trafficking ring impacted communities across the region. CBS News Philadelphia reporter Nikki Dementri spoke to neighbors who lived near the alleged operation.
You just never expect it to be someone you sleep next to, live next to. It's heartbreaking, honestly.
Shock around this quiet pocket of Oxford Circle Tuesday hours after the news broke of the arrest in a human traffic organization allegedly operating out of this neighborhood.
How did nobody see this for all these years?
Since 2012, they believe the house has been operating.
It's shocking. It really is.
Since at least 2012, the Pennsylvania State Police and Attorney General's office says a sex trafficking ring ran out of a home on the 800 block of Diston Street.
Trafficking can happen anywhere.
In Center City, the two agencies made the announcement of 22 arrests, including of this man, Terrence Jones. They allege the 52-year-old led the enterprise and preyed on women often facing substance abuse issues.
Jones recruited and exploited over a dozen young women for his sex trafficking operation at locations throughout Philadelphia, its suburbs, and South Jersey.
A friend of one of the victims, the Attorney General says, came forward to law enforcement, beginning the joint investigation alongside state police in 2021. The charges were recently returned by a grand jury.
Jones presented himself in virtually every online or phone conversation to the potential victims as a woman.
That woman the victims knew, investigators say, was named Julie. Among other arrests are Jones's daughter, who officials believe handled her father's finances, drivers, and 16 commercial sex buyers.
We have made it a point to charge the buyers in this case because to end human trafficking, we must reduce the demand.
Investigators believe there may be more victims in this case. Anyone with information is asked to contact the Pennsylvania State Police Bureau of Criminal Investigation. We have that number right now on our website, cbsphiladelphia.com. In Oxford Circle, Nikki Demetri, CBS News, Philadelphia.
Bombshell news out of the world of fashion hit the headlines today. Former Abercrombie & Fitch CEO Michael Jeffries and two others arrested. They're charged with sex trafficking and interstate prostitution. So Jeffries, seen here getting in the back of a police cruiser, faces a judge in about an hour in Florida. And CBS News correspondent Christian Benavides joins us live. He's in West Palm Beach today. Christian, these are some disturbing allegations. Quite a network here.
Reed, just absolutely horrible allegations. This is just so disturbing. The defendants in this case, Mike Jeffries, the former CEO of Abercrombie & Fitch, Matthew Smith, his partner, and James Jacobson, who, according to federal prosecutors, was hired to sort of facilitate what they're calling sex trafficking, facilitate these sexual acts that would happen, according to officials. What federal prosecutors say is that they targeted young men who were looking for a career in modeling with promises of career advancement, and they would show up to what federal prosecutors are calling a casting couch operation. Essentially, told that they were going there for an interview and turning into just this horrible situation. According to the indictment, Jacobson allegedly had the victims do a tryout with him before these alleged victims would go on to meet Jeffries and Smith. All of this after they were allegedly told to sign non-disclosure agreements, were given alcohol and drugs so that they could perform these sexual acts for the former CEO of Abercrombie & Fitch. Just absolutely very disturbing allegations here. According to officials, the crimes allegedly occurred, or at least the probe goes back to the late 2000s up until March of 2015. Mike Jeffries was the CEO of Abercrombie & Fitch from 1992 to 2014.
Much more and many more layers to this onion for sure. Christian Benavides reporting live there from South Florida. We appreciate you.
Sherman, thank you. And if you take a look at this map right here, 9 Houston area bars all shut down, and it's for the same dark reason. Authorities say more than 80 human trafficking victims were rescued from these locations.
And this was after a huge raid carried out by the Texas Alcoholic Beverage Commission on Friday. Fox 26's Abigail Dye has been digging into the story for us here today. She's joining us live from North Harris County with more details.
Anthony, I'm here at Las Margaritas. This is one of the clubs that authorities say was essentially operating as a brothel. As you can see, we have boarded up windows. It seems pretty unkept over here. I'm not sure if this damage is from one of those raids or exactly what's going on, but it's very eerie here tonight. And behind these doors is where investigators say humans were sold like items. It's just one of the 9 bars that the TABC shut down this week with 90-day suspensions. They say they made 4 arrests on various charges related to human trafficking and prostitution and identified 84 victims. They're still evaluating if there are more. This is one of the largest sex trafficking busts we've reported on, and the operations are hiding in plain sight. Tell me about these cantinas and brothels that we see here in Houston. What are they and how do they operate?
So there's lots of different markets actually that traffickers work. Cantinas is one of them, and it's a place where people can go and actually get access. Some people think to women, but it's often children.
This is David Reed, CTO and CMO of Red M, a nonprofit that supports human trafficking survivors. He says that at bars like these, trafficking is hard to spot. Videos on social media from some of the other bars shut down show people laughing and dancing. It looks normal, but Reed says the sex trafficking goes on behind closed doors.
There's a closed off area, and so it's kind of managed up front, and then the deeds are done in the back, and it's kind of managed like that.
Wow. So walking into a place like this, you wouldn't see anything.
It's not as obvious, and everything is designed to be hidden.
Another huge hub for human trafficking. Reed tells me that what happens behind these doors makes up a $245 billion industry worldwide. Just to put that in perspective, that's more than the NFL is worth in its entirety. Now, Reed also had some insight on another huge hub for human trafficking here in Houston, massage parlors. I'll have more on that coming up on the News Edge at 10.
Yeah, we know that the massage parlors do that. I appreciate you being here, Lego Lisa, with your new username. That's funny. Let's see, Silly Pick, Carrie. I appreciate y'all joining me. So, yeah, I'm gonna ask Houston. I'm gonna check to see if these are in Houston or the county, because some of these, I think this might be outside of Houston Incorporated, and this might be a county issue. I'm gonna check because I don't want those bars open again. Like a 90-day suspension for their TACB license is not good enough for me. They were literally selling people. They should not be open again. And yes, the massage parlors have also been issues. Houston is a pretty high human trafficking area. Oh, Abigail, I'm so sorry that I paused it like that. You are beautiful, and that is not great. Not great. I'm sorry. And at least, I know she's not AI because I've met her. I know her. I'm trying to move videos and they're just moving. Okay. So the next story is also going to be Harris County. Harris County is such a clusterfuck. A judge is accused of helping a death row inmate get an MRI. Why couldn't they just get it? Do they not treat you if you're on death row? Like, why would they have to sneak an MRI? Because I don't remember what it was. They gave a different reason, and then he went to a hospital and got an MRI. So that's not good.
On tonight's Breaking Bond, a Harris County criminal court judge could be criminally charged herself after being accused of taking unprecedented measures to get a convicted mass murderer on death row and MRI without the state's knowledge.
Fox 26's Randy Wallace joining us live from the courthouse with the latest in his ongoing series.
Yeah, Ross, 351st Judge Nada Cornelio doesn't have to worry about what voters think of her bending over backwards for one of Houston's most notorious mass murderers. She's on the ballot, but she's running unopposed. She's going to be a judge for the next 4 years, and voters can't stop it. In its motion to recuse Judge Nada Cornelio in the case of death row inmate Ronald Haskell, prosecutors claim she didn't want anyone, not even the state, to know what she was doing. In 2014, Haskell killed his ex-sister-in-law, her husband, and 4 children.
Entire family wiped out. I mean, methodically, he's putting people down one by one by one. And by some sort of miracle, a 15-year-old girl managed to survive.
And she was the one who alerted the DA's office after victim services told her Haskell had been moved from the Polunsky unit in Huntsville to the Harris County Jail on a bench warrant signed by Judge Cornelio.
Purportedly for a court setting to occur on July 22nd at midnight.
Did that ever happen? Was there a court hearing?
There was never any court setting in this case during the 3 weeks that Ronald Haskell was in the Harris County Jail.
What Judge Cornelio wanted, according to court filings, was to get Haskell an MRI. Cornelio, who opposes the death penalty, apparently told the DA's office years ago, before becoming a judge, she thought Haskell was, quote, sick. These are pictures of Haskell unshackled, surrounded by other patients in a waiting room at a Texas Medical Center MRI facility. Nobody around him knew that there's a death row inmate right next to him.
Look, I agree with you. I think it is galling to look at those photographs of Ron Haskell being paraded through a private MRI facility.
Anytime a death row inmate is brought back to Harris County, all parties are told.
According to court filings, the only people who knew Haskell was in the Harris County Jail for 3 weeks was Judge Cornelio and Haskell's appellate attorney.
Even his attorney told him not to say anything. No one was supposed to know that he was here.
In a taped conversation with his mother, even Haskell questioned, why all the cloak and dagger?
That he understood that this whole thing was supposed to be a secret. The state was not supposed to know. And he, in fact, was concerned for his own safety because apparently this was so cloak and dagger, he almost got put in general population.
While Haskell has the right to bring up mental illness in his appeal, the judge's alleged actions are over the top.
Judge Cornelio has her thumb on the scale in a favorable manner to him.
Judge Cornelio could be charged with tampering with a government record. The bench warrant was for a court hearing that never happened. The hearing for the motion to recuse will be held a week from today. Reporting live.
Holy shit. Okay, so I'm guessing that they're doing the MRI to check his brain because they think that he had a mental illness or something. That's what I'm guessing. The judge is against the death penalty, so it sounds like she's trying to help him in his appeal. The judge shouldn't be doing that. That's something that could have been done through the attorneys, through the system. He could have got an MRI. Like it's not something that was, wow. Yeah, I'm really not okay with that. And the fact that she is running unopposed, you can file file something against the judge. You can file a complaint with the judicial ethics. I think it's ethics or conduct. I don't remember exactly what it is. But in order to file it, it's a paper form that you have to fill out. You have to get it notarized. It's a whole process. And they don't make it easy at all. And if you file it, then the judge knows who filed the complaint because it's not anonymous. So yeah, maybe I should file a complaint. What do you guys think? Should I file a complaint? I kind of want to. I'm not okay with that. I understand, trying to check to see if he has an issue with his brain. That's fine. But that's something that could have been done through the proper channels. I don't agree with that. And I don't think that you as a judge should put your beliefs and stuff in the courtroom. Like, that's just, you can be against the death penalty. That's fine. But no, no. Mm-mm. Yeah, and the fact that he was in a normal MRI facility, what if he escaped? What if something happened? and nobody knew. All right. So some of these videos I am going to have to share tomorrow. So I only have a few minutes left because I have to hop in the shower. All right. So we had discussed a few times that there was murders at a Sonic. A Sonic manager was murdered over uh, the murderers had tried to use counterfeit money, and they argued over the counterfeit money. And then a 17-year-old was involved in the murder of the manager there. That 17-year-old has finally been caught. Here's a quick update on that.
A big update tonight. The 17-year-old suspect accused of murdering a Sonic employee is now in custody. Today, members of the North Texas Fugitive Task Force arresting 17-year-old Adea Roberson in Dallas. She had been on the run since the July shooting at the Sonic on Babcock near Hebner Road. Last month, she was put on the state's top 10 most wanted fugitives list. She is accused of shooting and killing the manager after reportedly trying to buy food with counterfeit cash. She will be brought back to San Antonio to face charges.
And she will absolutely be charged as an adult. Absolutely. 1,000%. Threw her life away for what? For what? For what? All right. So I'm going to do one more crime video, and then we're going to play some animal videos. You know what? We're going to do a scam video. So there is a new rule. Let me start my playlist for tomorrow. I get a little overzealous and I save too many videos because I'm like, I want to share all these things. All right. Let me add this one. Okay, so the FTC has started a new rule that you can't have fake reviews. So they're supposed to be banning fake online reviews. I have run into lots of fake reviews. And sometimes it's even like if you go on Amazon and you read the reviews and it's a different product because they were selling something else and then they changed it. Like that's not okay. So here's the new rule on banning the fake reviews. I'm not really sure how they're gonna crack down on that, but we'll find out.
Online shoppers often turn to the reviews, how many stars, to see what other people have to say. But sometimes, Matt, this is so shocking. Reviewers haven't even bought the product, and in some cases, they're not even people.
Way! The Federal Trade Commission is now banning marketers from using fake reviews, including ones generated by our friend, artificial intelligence.
The new rules, which went into effect yesterday, also prohibit companies from paying for either positive or negative reviews to boost or tear down a product. The FTC says fake reviews pollute the marketplace and waste people's time and money.
Under the new rules, marketers are also forbidden from exaggerating their influence by using bots to inflate the number of followers they have. I think that I've been looking into this.
Really?
I think they do the same thing on the social media networks.
What?
Yeah.
No.
Just a feeling.
You mean it's not real?
Is anything really?
I think you are, but I'm not really sure.
Okay, but how are they going to enforce that? FTC fake reviews rule. Okay, well, how are you gonna? How is? Okay, it's banned, but what are you gonna do about it? Yeah, it's banned. Okay, but what are you gonna do? Okay, so all right, so if they violate it, then the FTC is gonna fine them, is what I'm seeing. So they're gonna get fines. That's okay. Well, good luck. Yeah, bots are really annoying. And when I've bought something from Amazon, I have gotten something inside the box asking if I do a good review, then they'll give me a gift card or whatever. So it sounds like they're not allowed to do that either. All right, so the last story is going to involve
In addition to turning
Always animals in the news. So I have 2 videos with animals. So something that you have to think about when you're in Florida and living in Florida are the creatures that live there. And when a hurricane happens, all these animals come out of the woodwork. So if you're in Florida, don't go in floodwaters ever when it's flooded, because there could be literally anything in there. And because of the flooding, some people are finding these animals in their houses.
In addition to turning roads into rivers, Hurricane Milton has also brought a flood of wild animals into unsuspecting Floridians' backyards.
Sorry. Oh, that was a big alligator just bit our tire.
This video capturing the moment a resident in Fort Myers realized the gator was swimming next to their car and attempting to take a bite out of their tire.
So it makes sense that with the flooding, a lot of people are seeing these in their homes.
Yeah, in their homes, in their pools, backyards, bedrooms, absolutely everywhere.
So why do they go into houses?
So the water pretty much pushed them obviously out of their pond area. They're going with the flow.
In the Tampa area, Jen Meser walked into her garage-turned-home gym the day after the storm with her 5-year-old on her hip to find an unexpected visitor.
Holy moly, we've got a gator in our garage. He made a trip over to the treadmill, got his cardio in for a second, and then he meandered out underneath my truck.
Messer and her husband called 911, but were able to shoo the gator back toward the pond near their house.
We directed him, but he wasn't that happy about it. So he did take a big chomp out of our broom. It was a wild day.
In this video, another family returning to their home north of Tampa was greeted by a gator lounging on their front porch. Experts say residents in flooded areas need to be careful.
I would absolutely be concerned on what's out there. I would not go in dark water. I would be extremely cautious.
Plus, gators aren't the only creatures out of their element.
A lot of the snakes that may be subterranean underground have been flooded out, just like people have been flooded out. Don't surprise them. That's why I tell people to avoid the water when possible.
Oh, yeah, that's, yeah, you wouldn't have to tell me twice, Squad. But what is the top concern as they're trying to get these animals cleared out?
Well, Savannah, the top concern is people that walk through these waters. They're asking them not to do it. Keep in mind that Florida has over 1 million alligators, and these communities are connected to wild.
Yeah, I don't need your opinion. I just wanted to see the animals. Yeah, basically don't go in the water, yada, yada, yada. We have a better video coming. I don't need your opinion and showing the same videos over and over. Don't go in the flood water. And please don't call 911 if there's a wild animal. 911 cannot help you. Unless you live in a small town, the cops aren't going to come wrangle something. You need fish and wildlife. Call a game warden. That's who you need. You need a game warden. I have called a game warden before when my neighbor had trapped an animal and it was just like sitting in the cage for like days. So I got one more story, and it's going to be the last story. And it is an update on Trooper, the dog that was rescued from the highway or tied to a fence during Hurricane Milton. So the state trooper that rescued Trooper, they have been reunited.
It's Monday, and that means it's time for Begno's America, where David Begno finds the heart in every story. And this morning we're talking about this beautiful dog. He got the nation's attention after he was found left on his own moments before Hurricane Milton hit Florida. Look at how sad this picture is. The dog's 23-year-old owner is now charged with aggravated animal cruelty and could face prison time for what he did. He gave up the dog under the condition that the dog would then be well taken care of. Well, David wanted to know if that's really happening. So he set out to find the dog and see how the dog is doing.
When America first saw this abandoned dog, it's okay, up to his chest in floodwater, it's okay, he was trembling, growling, and scared. I don't blame you. So when yours truly was invited to be the first journalist to meet him, we started off real slow. I had been warned that this 5-year-old bull terrier seemed a little wary of men. Hi, buddy. Armed with treats and a lot of patience, we let him lead the way. as his foster mom, Amber Gonzalez, sat with us.
Hi.
He had only been with Amber for 4 days when we met them, but he was clearly already smitten with her.
It's okay, buddy. It's okay.
It was just a week ago that police say he was dumped in rising floodwater in Tampa, Florida, as Hurricane Milton barreled its way toward the state. So warming up to someone new after what he's been through was going to take some time.
That was a very traumatic experience for him, and you could tell. You could tell.
Amy Radar of the Leon County Humane Society in Tallahassee says she was contacted by the governor's office and asked to personally find a foster home for him.
They had a collar and a leash on him. I put him right into my van and a crate, took him to my house. He met a few of my dogs with him on leash, and he did fine. That evening, when I knew he was going to be okay, was that evening he got up and he was all bouncy and he gave me a tail wag.
What makes you emotional?
Just knowing that what he had been through and that could have ruined him, but they're resilient.
It was Florida Highway Patrol Trooper Orlando Morales who first rescued the dog that would later be renamed Trooper in his honor.
I got out my car, and sure enough, I look right across my front bumper, and I see his face just like sticking up, and then I kind of see water just pretty much up to his chest area, and I was like, wow.
I know you're both a dad and a dog owner. What did you think when you first got up to him?
Immediately I just thought, how could someone, like, I was kind of enraged at a certain point, like, how could anybody just possibly even think of, doing an act like this? And it was just awful.
Trooper Morales cares a lot about his new friend, so much so that he drove 4 hours from home on his day off so that we could reunite them.
You're looking good. You're looking healthy. Here you go.
Trooper was cautious, as we expected. He dropped his tail, looked reluctant. But then Amber encouraged Trooper Morales to walk him, as he had done once before. And that seemed to do it. The dog seemed to trust him yet again.
How is it to reunite with him today?
It feels awesome. I'm just glad that he's in good hands and given the care and love that he deserves.
He is just into you. That did not take long.
I think dogs have a sense they know they can trust.
Foster mom Amber is a nurse who's actually treated trauma patients. So who better to care for little Trooper than her? She also has experience with his unique breed.
I recently had to put my bull terrier down in April, 14 years. And I always wanted to foster, but I just hadn't quite got there yet emotionally. So anyway, I sent an email. That was it. I sent an email and I put a picture of me with Mia, my bull terrier. And then Miss Amy, who works at the Leon County Humane Society, she reached out.
And the next thing she knew, Trooper was home with her.
You've only had him for 4 days. And look at this.
Yeah, that's dogs. If you give them a chance, and that's the thing I love about it, is that he just wanted a chance to just be okay and be safe.
We were told that Trooper appears to bear some of the marks of his past. I mean, look at those calloused elbows. The Humane Society told us it was likely from living on hard surfaces most of his life, but no more.
Are you going to keep him?
We've made a decision. We're just going to foster.
Just going to foster, okay.
Because he's kind of opened my heart up to fostering. I'm his bridge till his forever home.
It will not be hard to find Trooper a forever home. This story has touched so many people across the country that more than 500 people have either called in or written in to say we want him. But Trooper isn't the only dog looking for a home. He has inspired the Leon County Humane Society to launch a campaign to help the 3.3 million other dogs in need of adoption find their forever homes around America. So when people head to their local shelters, they want you to say, Trooper sent me.
Thank you, Trooper. It begins with you. And so thank you for doing what you did. And thank you for loving him like your own.
I don't have a choice anymore right now,
No, you
apparently.
don't. No, you don't. No, you don't.
Oh, and one more thing. Before we left, this toy-obsessed boy who destroyed every toy he was given, chased after a tennis ball and ran himself right through the slats of that fence.
So he went through the slats and he's stuck.
Needing to be rescued yet again. If he is guilty of anything, it's this: being true to his breed. Bull Terriers are comical, they are mischievous, and at the end of the day, they are loyally loving.
Oh boy,
Good
Dave.
boy.
Yeah, very good boy.
Hear a pin drop in this studio because every single one of the members of our crew were watching your piece. There were some tears. I will not say from who, but everybody was just locked in.
I was going to say,
yeah.
Yes, everybody was locked in. I loved that. So cute. What a sweet dog. What a sweet baby. And I'm so glad he has such a wonderful foster mom. I think it might be a foster fail. We'll see. I mean, I get it. There's definitely some dogs that I loved and fostered and had to give up. Oh, well, not give up, but, let them get adopted because I didn't think it was the right time. Yeah, Michi is a rescue, even though she's a full breed Shar Pei. Where is she? Oh, she's over in the corner. She was rescued at 3 weeks old. She was going to go to the shelter, and I didn't even know what the breed was, and I took her because the guy that had her parents let the dog get pregnant and then decided, oh, I can't deal with this. I'm leaving the country, and was going to give all the puppies to a shelter. And they were so full of worms. I'm not even going to tell you all that story because it's gross. But anyway, so that is it for today. I already have some videos saved for tomorrow. I love starting my day with y'all. I appreciate you so much. I will be streaming with Steve on Friday for Feral Friday. I'm going to be one of the guest hosts. I think Missy's also going to be one as well. The movie I suggested is not one of my favorite movies, but it's just such a weird movie that if he can find it to stream it, it's I can't tell you guys because it's a secret, but I just don't want y'all to judge me with the movie. Don't judge me. So I just want to say that now. It's just such a weird movie that when it was shown to me, I have to show it to other people. So we'll see. And so for those of you that watch Brandy has dropped a new podcast. So definitely check that out. It's not Clockwork Orange. These are horror movies. It is such a weird horror movie. And I just want to, please don't judge me. It's just, yeah, there's some really weird shit in there. And if that's the one he's streaming, I just want to say it's not my favorite movie, but it's something. So please sign up for Kick. I have the link to my channel in there. Please sign up to Kick. Everybody needs Kick, so that's where it's going to be. Follow me elsewhere for announcements, especially on Twitter. But anyway, I love you all. I hope that you have a wonderful day, and I will see you bright and early tomorrow. So I will be starting at 6 a.m. Central, 7 a.m. Eastern every day until January. January, I will switch to a little bit later. So unfortunately, I can't move it any later right now. But in January, it'll get pushed back to like 6:45. And anyway, all right. I love you all. Have a great day. Bye, y'all.